Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Get Sweaty. I am one of your hosts, Matt Majot, or Tez today, Dr. Soda Spangler. As usual, I'm joined by Ben Rayner, Sol Goivan, and Goivan. God damn it, I turn Yiddish whenever I say your name. Always.
You got it right last time, so I believe in you.
Yeah, it's true. And returning from his month-long siesta in the snow, Jordan Henderson. Welcome back, man.
Yes, I'm living in a very snowy place. If I showed you outside my window, I got about a foot of snow on the ground, so that's fun.
We had about 8 inches in 2 days, and then it rained last night, and then it's all gone. That's normal for Paris.
Yep.
Okay, so this week we're going to cut the chit-chat because this is probably the potential to be one of our longest conversations. It is top 5 most anticipated movies of 2021. And based on what I was hearing before the show, it sounds like there's going to be a lot of talk because there's going to be a lot of honorable mentions. So we might as well just hop right into it. This was Jordan's topic, so you start first.
All right. So my number 5 is actually Fast and Furious 9. I think that would be called Fast 9. I think, but or even F9. I'm not sure, but I'm a massive die-hard Fast and Furious fan. Like I've loved it since the very beginning. And I like it more the more it becomes like a superhero movie, kind of fantasy, the crazy stunts they're trying to pull off. Apparently, they're maybe going to space in this one. Who knows? But it looks like the entire team's back, so we got pretty much everyone back. I don't know exactly what they're going to do with Brian O'Connor. I've heard rumors maybe his brothers might be stepping in. I don't know if they're even going to have that character. I kind of hope they don't, honestly. But and then they're also going to have John Cena playing Dom Toretto's brother. Be teaming up as a bad guy with Charlize Theron's character. So. Yeah, I'm super pumped.
Han is back.
Yeah, this didn't make my list because I totally forgot about this movie. And
it's my number 3.
And we're also doing punts too, just so you know.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, I saw the trailer and I was like, John Cena as Vin Diesel's brother. That's a bit of a stretch,
right? Yeah, they don't look too similar.
My main reason why I have it. And I guess this is foreshadow for my number 3 is because Han is back. And I love these movies and I love how ridiculous they are. The more ridiculous they get, the more I love them. I can suspend my disbelief with this franchise for whatever reason. And they literally could not follow any laws of physics and I'll be like, yes.
Yeah. I'm serious.
Once they jump towers in Dubai, all suspension of disbelief exited. But I think probably that's going to be the most ludicrous thing they've ever done is bring Han back.
Let me ask you guys a question. What's your favorite movies from the franchise?
Probably the 5th one.
4, 5, and 7.
I think the 5th one, because that's what. Well, actually, on number 4 is when they really kind of got into
when they started that. Yeah, and then 5 went off the rails and went.
Yeah. And I think I don't know if it was on my list or it was an honorable mention of underrated movies. I love Tokyo Drift, and I think it doesn't get the love it deserves.
It doesn't because it's in the middle. It's kind of like the sore thumb of the series because it's the only one that doesn't have any of the main. Well, I mean, you could argue Han, but at that point, you hadn't met him.
Yeah,
so to speak, right? So, I mean, it really is the sore thumb, the outlier, the one that sticks out in that series. So that's why I think a lot of people.
And it's set in the future, but has those block phones.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. If anything I learned about Japan, it's their style is on a whole level of its own. So.
Yeah. My favorite is 7 and Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, Hobbs and Shaw.
I did really enjoy Hobbs and Shaw, and I hope they do a sequel to that.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to.
Hobbs and Shaw is awesome.
And I want more Ryan Reynolds. Spoiler alert, he's in Hobbs and Shaw.
Not right. And spoiler alert, I think he's the villain.
Oh, interesting.
He might be.
The reason why I think that is at the very end of spoilers for Hobbs and Shaw. At the very end of Hobbs and Shaw, when we hear that automated voice, the whatever, listen carefully. It sounds like Ryan Reynolds.
I heard that before. I've heard people argue that before.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I wanted to just kind of, I just quick. It's like a sentence or two about the plot for Fast 9. It's just. It says after the events of Fate of the Furious, Dominic Toretto and his family must face Dominic's younger brother Jacob, a deadly assassin who's working with their old enemy Cypher, who holds a personal vendetta against Dominic. So nothing we didn't really know, but like that's pretty much like the base. Like really, all I've really even heard about the plot. I mean, I'm sure there's more out there, but I mean, I try to like not dive too deep into it because I just want to go in with a fresh, just like fresh everything, like no spoilers,
And also, we
still
don't have much time today for you to go into the whole plot. So
Right.
I'm still upset with myself, and just a small thing before going forward is that I didn't know that they were doing a free concert where they showed the trailer and they had all the people playing here in Miami, and I didn't know about it until it happened, and I was like, oh, it's too late to get over there.
Yeah, pretty much. That would have been wild.
Yeah, I could have been there. Awesome. I live in Miami.
So close.
Wait.
So close.
Yep.
Okay, but I guess I'll go to my number 5.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this one, it was originally in my honorable mentions, but it just sounds too great and too much up my alley that I had to bump it up to number 5. And this is called Blazing Samurai. Now you might be thinking,
what is this?
Blazing Samurai, that sounds close to Blazing Saddles. It is in the vein of Blazing Saddles, but as a cartoon. And it has Samuel L. Jackson, Michael Cera, Mel Brooks, Jamon Hansu, Michelle Yeoh, George Takei, Gabriel Iglesias, Ricky Gervais. And basically, here's the plot. Hank, Michael Cera, a scrappy dog who dreams of becoming a samurai, arrives in a strange land entirely inhabited by cats. Hank meets the nefarious warlord Ikachu, Ricky Gervais, who hustles an unwitting Hank into becoming the samurai for the town of Kakamucho, where Hank meets Jimbo, Samuel L. Jackson, a once great cat samurai, who reluctantly takes Hank under the wing and teaches him what being a samurai really means. Forging the first real friendship between a cat and a dog, the two set off on a journey to save the town of Kakamucho from an evil Ikachu, and ultimately Hank learns what it means to become a true samurai.
So I didn't hear about this till like literally right before the show started, and now I'm wondering like how far are they gonna push it? Because Blazing Saddles, the humor in that pushes it.
Oh yeah,
and a lot of that is the first time it had ever been done on screen. So I'm curious to see what they're gonna do in an animated movie.
Exactly. And for those of you who know who Dan Murrell is, he's done countdowns to ridiculous movies, 9 Lives, The Meg, Cats. He did a Meowth Down. So I need a Meowth Down for this movie.
Yeah, if you're listening, Dan, and I hope you are, because I know you go everywhere for all your lists and stuff. Please take Soul's advice and do a Meowth Down.
Yes.
I never even heard of this movie, but it sounds
none of us
amazing. Yeah, like I love anything that involves Mel Brooks. So like that right there, like already has me hooked. And then just all the names that you mentioned there, like it sounds like a stacked cast. So yeah.
I have one hope. I hope it's rated R.
Yes,
please. I need a hardcore rated R animated.
Fall and watch, please. Austin Powers, Spectacle Testicles, Wallet, and Watch.
He's taking his Austin Powers and then also his Catholic upbringing in that part.
Yeah. Lord, I don't pray for much.
But I guess we could go to Ben for his top 5. His number 5.
My number 5 kind of pits 2 monsters against each other. Kong vs. Godzilla.
Not on my list because I still haven't seen the last Godzilla movie.
Same. I haven't seen the last one either.
I haven't seen the last 2 Godzilla movies. I've seen the Kong movie. I didn't want to see a giant ape fighting a giant lizard. And I hope to God it was good and fun.
Well, what can go wrong, right?
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, you're going to get that. So if that's all you're looking for, then it's going to be a great movie for you, Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the last 2 Godzilla movies, and like visually they were absolutely stunning. But like beyond that, I didn't care for the story. I just thought they were they weren't really that good. Actually, story wise, I really didn't even like them.
I probably will watch this one before I watch Godzilla King of the Monsters because it's Godzilla versus King Kong. Duh.
Yeah, right.
Out
Yeah.
of all of these movies, I've only seen the first Godzilla. I haven't seen the new King Kong or Godzilla King of the Monsters yet. And I don't know, but there's a possibility I don't even need to see them to get into this movie.
Probably
No,
not, but I will say Kong Skull Island is very good.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
I liked that one.
yeah.
I'll check
I
it
actually
out
love-
eventually.
Yeah, Kong Skull Island. I actually love it. It had a lot of vibes like Apocalypse Now and that kind of vein in it, which was like awesome. So yeah, I really enjoyed Kong Skull Island.
And forgive me if I'm wrong, I think this is one of the movies that is going to be in theaters and streaming on the same day. As of right now.
Sit at home in my PJs then. Sit at home in my PJs then and watch it. So fun little bit. So remember the other night when we were hanging out in the chat over on Roka's Discord stall and we were watching Screwball and you were pointing out, oh, I know where that is. That was me during the first Godzilla because it was filmed in Vancouver. And,
nice.
and one of the scenes where they're like wandering through the streets, it's after Godzilla's, I think it's Godzilla or Mothra attacks, where it's like you see all the rubble and like all the smoke, whatever. I'm like, I live 5 blocks away from there.
Nice.
I know that stretch of the SkyTrain.
If we ever do a watch along on the 40-year-old version, I can be in that conversation because I live right on that street.
Yes, and I found out he lives near Bayside.
Well, typically for me, for like any movie set in Miami, it's usually downtown Miami, which I don't live in downtown, or it's not. It's set in Miami but filmed somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like there's one show that's set in Miami, filmed in Puerto Rico. A lot of times Miami set it filmed in LA. But yeah, Screwball is a documentary which is set here in Coral Gables, which is where I'm at. And I was like, oh, that's just down the road.
And boy, is it a documentary.
If you're a fan of baseball, definitely go check it out.
It's one of those, it's too ridiculous to be true. It really is.
Yeah, for me, probably the only movie filmed in my neck of the woods. My family owns a cabin in Utah over by the Sundance Ski Resort that's owned by Robert Redford. And the movie Jeremiah Johnson was actually filmed right behind our family's cabin. They came in and set up a whole western town and everything. So that's
wow.
Cool.
That's probably the oldest claim to fame here. That's an old
right.
movie.
Yeah, it is. It was before I was born, so I didn't get to see any of it, but I can recognize a few.
Based on a real character, and the real character is crazier than they depicted him in the movie.
Oh dang, yeah.
Like Screwball, truth is crazier than fiction.
Yeah. Well, for Jeremiah Johnson, like basically, like a bunch of Native Americans killed his family, and he went out and killed them and scalped them, and they don't show that in the movie.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like he went nuts, and they called him Liver Eating Johnson because legend has it he killed them and ate their livers.
A little more intense in real life, yeah.
Just a smidge.
Yeah.
Okay, so on that delicious note, my number 5 is Top Gun Maverick.
Another one I forgot about.
Okay,
that was in my honorable mentions.
So, a couple years ago, me and my friends did a rewatch of the first one. God damn, is it a ridiculously fun, good time. Yeah. And for 1980s, that aerial stuff was amazing. Now, imagine in 2021 with all the technology we have now and the fact that Tom Cruise actually does his own stunts. Just think about all the kick-ass aerial combat footage we're going to have in this movie. Because it has come out that he actually did scenes with the camera on his on his plane while he was doing it. So it's like we're gonna get an immersive experience like we've never seen before in a Hollywood movie like this. And
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. It is lower on my list because these other movies I'm definitely looking forward to a lot more. But yeah, I can't wait to see what they do. I can't wait to see what Maverick's been up to the last 30 years. I can't wait to see who is it. Jennifer Connelly is how she's going to play into it. Is she in
the first one?
I have a confession,
guys. When the first one came out, she would have been like 15. It was Kelly McGillis.
I have a confession, guys.
Yeah, and with Val Kilmer coming back, with Val Kilmer coming back as wait, did you say you've never seen the first one?
Yeah, that's a sin right there.
I was going to say next time we do it, that's the next watch along we got to do in Outlaw and Rokas.
Okay.
He loves that movie.
I know
Oh,
he
yeah.
does. His girlfriend took him to all the spots in San Diego for his birthday.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is a movie that's just so over the top, but it's so fun. But yeah, look at the cast in this movie. You've got Val Kilmer returning as Iceman, which is gonna be cool. Miles
Yeah.
Teller, who's playing Goose's son.
Actually, looks like
casting.
it looks pretty similar. Like him. Like
Yep.
they did a good job with that.
John Hamm is in it in an unspecified role. Ed Harris is in it. And I wonder who else is going to be coming back. Like, are we going to get Michael Ironside? Are we going to get Tom Skerritt? Are we going to get Meg Ryan? You know?
We're gonna get some songs by Kenny Loggins. Come on.
Oh, we have to.
Kenny Loggins.
We have
Yeah.
to. He's
Right?
still kicking. He's still kicking. So
Yeah. Right.
Have you guys seen it on the big screen?
yes,
Okay.
it's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. Last year, I got to go.
And that's nice.
Yeah,
Right.
it's always cool when you see these old movies on the big screen. Like for me, I saw the trilogy of Back to the Future in the big screen.
I know the first one on the
That's
big
cool.
screen.
That was rough because by the time I got out of the chair, I could barely stand.
It wasn't one of those
Right.
recliner chairs.
No, this was in a mom and pop theater in Vancouver that they were shutting down. So the last week they just re-aired classic films.
Oh,
And
nice.
it was one of those ones where you had to descend into the lobby. It was in the basement of a building. It was so cool. It looked
Oh,
like one of
really?
the. I mean, I was so choked that I just found out about this theater too.
Dang.
Yeah, that sucks when you find a great place and it's shutting down for one reason or another, and you're like,
Yeah.
I just found you.
Yeah, this would have been. What year was this? This would have been like 2012, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, that week they did Back to the Future trilogy, and then another night. Unfortunately, the Back to the Future one was the only one I could go to, but they did Godfather 1 and 2. They did Lebowski with a cosplay contest. They did what other movies did they do? Did they do Karate Kid? I think they might have done Karate Kid. Did I say Ghostbusters 1 and 2 already?
No, not yet.
Yeah, they did Ghostbusters 1 and 2, and they did a couple other ones. It was like, motherfucker, why do I have to work?
Nice. So,
And I think
go ahead.
I think going forward, we're gonna get a lot more of that kind of stuff because like the whole dynamic of the theater has like changed kind of just with COVID and everything. So I really hope we get to see like a lot more classic movies, some of those cosplay contests or like some theme nights, like some things like that. So hopefully we get more of that.
Before they had to close down for the second wave, that's what they were doing was they were showing older movies.
Oh, nice.
Should have gone and seen Friday the 13th.
Ooh, yeah, that would have been awesome.
Okay, Jordan, you're number 4.
All right, so my number 4 is on your shirt, Matt. Is Space Jam: A New Legacy? Because I'm a huge basketball fan, so that's mostly why. Like I just like live and breathe and die for the NBA. So I'm excited for that. Plus, just like seeing them team up with the Looney Tunes and just crazy off the wall kind of stuff like that. I love that. Like I love the original Space Jam. I watch that at least a couple times a year, and so
you still do, so it still holds up.
Okay, so it still holds up for you.
Yeah,
because for me as a kid, I loved Space Jams, and I am also a huge basketball fan like Jordan. But watching it now as an adult, to me, it doesn't hold up, and so I still I'm going to see this movie. I'm even wearing I joked. I was like, technically, I'm in the same vein. I'm wearing a Miami Heat shirt. He played for the Heat. He got 2 rings with us. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go see it. But it's not my most anticipated because the first doesn't really hold up that well anymore for me.
Yeah, and I'm a massive Looney Tunes fan, so I will see it. But because the first one doesn't hold up for me, it's not as it barely even cracked my. It didn't even crack my honorable mentions. But I still will see it because who doesn't love Daffy Duck?
Right.
I see it on streaming, and I think there's another one that's going to switch to streaming.
Yeah, for me, me and my friends, we just have this thing with old basketball players from the 90s and 80s. We love talking about when basketball a lot more rough and tumble than it is today, and kind of just that
less about the
good old days. Yep, exactly. So yeah, for this one, you got a few NBA players coming to that are obviously probably going to be taken over by the space aliens. You're going to have Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis, Damian Lillard, and and Chris Paul. Those are like the big notable ones. And then also there's a couple other. You're gonna have Jim Carrey in some kind of like unspecified role. I'm not
He's
sure
probably,
what.
you know what? I would be surprised if they do, given the Bill Murray treatment.
Yeah, I was like, he's gonna be the Bill Murray.
Because how can you not have rubber face with the Looney Tunes?
Yeah,
right.
How did you have this earlier?
And going more to like Jordan's point on basketball too, whereas like even though I'm much younger than you guys and I was more of a child during the 90s, but like that time was more going to the paint, making the hard scores, making those layups, stuff like that. Right now a lot of basketball recently is like who's shooting threes and who's getting those like outside shots, and it's not as aggressive.
And like who's got the bigger brand, and it's just like, play the fucking game, man.
And so I wonder how in the movie how they're gonna play, if it's gonna be more of that older play of going to the paint, being more aggressive, or it's gonna be the newer play that they show in the movie.
You know, it's gotta. I wouldn't be surprised with the players involved that it's gonna be more the newer style, but I could definitely see LeBron making a case, because he is a student of the game, making a case for that old style. But honestly, I think it's gonna be veering more to the newer.
And I mean, you see the old style, like in players like LeBron, he still goes into the paint. You see it in players like Jimmy Buckets, Jimmy Butler. He still goes to the paint. When Wade was still playing, before he was still going to the paint. And so you still have players doing that. But the style of basketball has definitely changed.
I'm not going to lie. That's actually probably, I think, one of the reasons why I like hockey quite a bit is because it hasn't changed all that much. Like, I mean, there's no pageantry. There's none of that.
They just don't let them fight anymore.
That's right. Okay, so I agree. I do miss the old physical style, but I'm 100% for not having it, because if you've ever seen Scott Stevens deliver a body check, he ended a lot of careers back then, and he didn't get any penalties for it. You can't I miss it. I nostalgicize for it, but I'm happy it's not there anymore, because I don't want to see players' careers cut short.
Right.
Yeah, and in the first Space Jam, you had a lot of those players that would kind of were like in the paint players. You had Charles Barkley, you had Sean Bradley, Patrick Ewing, Larry Johnson.
I don't want to say Muggsy Bogues.
Yeah, Muggsy Bogues was in it too.
I almost said Mookie Bogues. I was like, no.
I thought you were about to say Mookie Betts, and I was like, wrong sport.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. No, Muggsy Bogues is like what is he? The smallest point guard ever?
I think so. Yeah, he's the shortest. He's right up there with Spud Webb, I think. Those two.
Yeah.
So,
Bogues.
But but this movie, it definitely has the chance to be like completely awesome or complete dud. Like it really could be. So I really have my fingers crossed. So we'll see.
Okay, so point guard is usually like what, the LeBron. Who's a point guard, to give you an idea?
Usually like a Chris Paul. Or like a Steph Curry, something like that.
Okay, so they're what, like 6'6"?
Usually anywhere from like 6 feet to 6.
Muggsy Bogues was 5'3", 136 pounds, and he was a point guard.
I'm taller than him.
And look at the era he played in. Like, some of the players didn't give an inch, especially when did he? If he start? Yeah, see, he started in the 80s when it was the Pistons running roughshod all over the league. I'm surprised he survived as long as he did.
Right. Well, it's like Nate Robinson he's one of those little short guys, and he got in the boxing ring and got his ass kicked.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I was about to say Wade, and I was like, no, he was a shooting guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so what's your number 4, Soul?
My number 4 is Judas and the Black Messiah. So this is about
Yeah, I'm like, what?
It is not a religious film. It is about Fred Hampton, the chairman of the Black Panther Party in the late 1960s in Illinois, and William O'Neill, who is an informant for the FBI on Fred Hampton. So this is more of going into those stories that you don't learn about as much in school because, it's directed by a person who he doesn't have much out. Shaka King is his name. I haven't heard of him before, but one of the things that has me most excited about it is Daniel Kaluuya is playing Fred Hampton and Lakeith Stanfield is playing William O'Neill, and I love both of them.
I've got a question about this. So everybody's seen Trial of Chicago 7 yet?
No.
I have not. It's still on my list.
Okay, I was going to ask because Fred Hampton, I was like, that sounds familiar. I think his death is covered a little bit in that movie as well.
Okay.
Yeah, because it happened at the time of the trial. So I'm actually interested. Now I know what it's about. Yeah, this should have been on my list, but I completely missed it.
So it's one of those that like there's Black history in the U.S. that you don't learn about in school as much, and that things that you should learn about and things that you should be more knowledgeable about. And so that's something that those are stories that I'm excited to watch and to read, especially like Black Klansman. That's one of my favorite movies the year it came out, because I was like, oh, this is a story I never heard about. This is something that should have been taught about in school. This is a very interesting story.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the thing is the victors always rates the history books, and unfortunately, a lot of American history they're pretty much the villain, and I can understand like why they didn't put that in the book, because we're supposed to be the greatest country in the world. No, you're not.
Yeah,
you just said where I was like, did you join the U.S.?
Three Americans in the thing, but it's true.
Yeah, and there's so many of the stories that I keep hearing about that are especially from African American history that's like I never heard these stories. Why weren't we ever like taught these stories in school? Like the Tulsa massacre.
Yes,
I was just about to bring that up because we saw it in Watchmen, and it's the question. Do you think it's going to get the treatment like this, like Judas in the Black Messiah?
I hope so, because honestly, that it is such a tragedy that we do not learn about that in school. Yeah. The fact that I found that out by watching Watchmen, and then people were Googling it to see if this was a real event, and it was. And so the fact that you have to watch a TV show like Watchmen that is about superheroes, basically, to learn about
just part of the story,
an important part of American history.
Yeah. I was fortunate. I learned about it just before Watchmen, because I think word had come out. So they like this webpage I follow called All That's Interesting, where they post stuff that you may not know about. They posted an article about it, I think, like 3 days before the show debuted. So yeah, I'm with you. I learned it right around the same time. And even things like, I know they made a movie in 1997, but Rosewood would be another interesting one. The Rosewood lynch mob in 1923. Mm-hmm. Read up on that one. That one's pretty rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot to learn, so educate yourself, peoples.
Damn right. Okay, Ben, what's your number 4?
I'm going to take a look at something to help me.
That's on my honorable mention.
Okay. There you go.
Mortal Kombat! Yep.
Yes. That one just honorable mentions.
I can't really see this reboot. I mean, there's really not that much else to say about it.
Basically, you know what's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of fighting.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I'm thinking you ended all this time.
It should be.
And if for those of you all that are watching Cobra Kai, I think it's in the season 1. I think it's Danny LaRusso's son is playing Mortal Kombat on his like game, and he was just like, "You want to do karate with me?" And he's like, "No." And then like Danny's like, "You're playing karate on your video games. You want to do it in real life?" And the kid's like, "Nah."
That kid's a little annoying. It's funny.
Well, didn't you just do a rewatch of the whole series?
Yes, I watched the entire 3rd season on the 1st of January.
Well, no, I mean, didn't you also just recently watch 1 and 2?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, no, sorry, go ahead, Ben.
I was just going to say, now to get way off topic here, but that's the problem with binging. I fucking don't remember what happened in season 1.
Yeah.
Or 2.
I remember some of the plot points, but then watching season 3, it's like, oh yeah, this happened, and he was there.
That's why I typically do a rewatch. So when season 4 comes, I'm probably going to rewatch the first 3 seasons again.
Yeah, I think I'll do that too, going into season 4. It's going to be much needed.
Yeah, we've been doing a rewatch, me and my wife, because for the longest time I could not get her to watch Cobra Kai. I'm like, you got to watch this. It's so good. And finally, actually, yesterday we started watching, and like she just wanted to keep watching. Like saw the like time ticking away. Like like midnight came around, 12:31, and
Yeah.
like, another. Let's watch it. We should be like, all right, one
And there's
more, and
such
then we'll
short
go to bed.
episodes that you're like, more.
I was
Yep.
so bummed when it ended. Like I tapped out after 3 episodes because I was tired. But
Yeah, right. Oh, there you go.
You're wearing
But I
the
have a
Cobra
question
Kai
for you guys.
side.
yeah, the Cobra Kai side. The other side is Miyagi-Do.
So I have a question then. For Mortal Kombat, who's your go-to player when you play Mortal Kombat?
Sub-Zero.
Yeah, I know. It's lovely.
Yep, same.
Lovely.
Yep, Sub-Zero. That's mine too.
Get over here.
Yep, Scorpion, get over here.
Out of them.
You already knew the answer, Jordan. You
Yeah,
didn't even
right.
ask.
I already knew. Right on.
All right.
Okay. My number 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It.
Ooh, that just missed my honorable mention. Barely.
So this would have been higher if I liked number 2.
You didn't like number 2.
Number 2 is fine. I just felt with the increase, it's one of those with the increased budget and what have you, it kind of forgot what made the first one so special.
Yeah.
And so it was good, but I just thought it was a little too out there for me. The first one, though, the first one is perfect.
As a
Actually, I kinda
scary
like the
movie
increased budget.
wimp, I have seen the first 2 because my friends made me.
Yeah.
So this is one of the scary movie franchise that like I've seen. I haven't seen the other like side ones, like I think like Annabelle or whatever.
Annabelle
that-
Comes Home, which
Yeah.
is the second Annabelle movie, is
Yeah.
pretty damn good.
So I haven't seen those, but I've seen The Conjuring 1 and 2.
Yeah, the first time I watched them, I did a back-to-back binge by myself in the middle of the night, and that was pretty fun. And I've seen the scene so many times, but every time this happens, it still makes me jump.
Yeah.
Every time. Like, I know it's coming, but it's still. But with this one, a chilling story of terror, murder, and unknown evil that shocked even experienced real-life paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. One of the most sensational cases from their files. It starts with a fight for the soul of a young boy, then takes them beyond anything they've ever seen before to mark the first time in U.S. history that a murder suspect can claim demonic possession as a defense.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
This
crazy.
is not on my list. And will never be on my list.
Oh,
See,
you don't like
it's
scary
not,
movies as well?
It's not on my list, and
love
unless
scary
my
movies.
friends make me watch it, I will this is not one that I'm going to actively go towards.
This is one of the few modern horror franchises where I'm totally on board with, because normally my thing is I love the like Friday the 13th and Friday Nightmare on Elm Street stuff because I like the over the top kills and I like learning how they do all that stuff. I find most horror movies now they've tended towards more the thriller side, and that kind of bores me a little bit. So
and
unless
the
I'm
psychological stuff too.
yeah, exactly. A lot of psychological stuff. So unless I'm in a group, those movies have a hard time holding my attention because with a group, I have no choice. But this is one of the few I've sat down and watched on my own, and it actually has held my attention the whole way through. So I can't wait for this third one.
Although,
I can't wait to go to the theater for this.
Speaking of thrillers,
Yeah.
though, Upgrade is a great movie.
Yes. Upgrade was good.
If you're going like purely thriller, which like so with me, like I don't really delve into horror and I barely delve into thrillers, but when I do, like it's movies like Upgrade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Upgrade was pretty damn good. It was very much a throwback to the 80s horror movies or 80s sci-fi movies.
I haven't seen Upgrade, but I have seen Upgrade. I saw Venom, and isn't that amazing? Upgrade?
Yeah, two different sides of the same coin.
True.
Yeah, for me, I remember when I actually went and saw both Conjurings in the theater, and when I saw the first one, I didn't really know anything about the series going in, but I got into the theater, and the theater was packed. It was like it was a sold out crowd. I was like, dang, like this must be like super popular, or like I don't know why this movie's so packed for a horror movie, because most of the time when I see horror movies in the theater, it's never sold out. It's just kind of like half full or something like that. But like it was packed house, and so
the only movie,
it was definitely one that broke the zeitgeist.
Oh, for sure. The only horror movies that I've seen packed houses for were It and It Chapter 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those were fun to watch in the crowd. Oh, especially
I have not seen them, and I probably won't.
Rewatching it on my own, I like them a lot, but I feel like it's more my memory of watching them in the theater that kind of ranks it higher for me, because the first one especially, you could feel all the electricity through the crowd, and they screamed at the right places, and it was very much, I akin it to Avengers Endgame and Rise of Skywalker, that sort of thing. It was very much an atmospheric experience that I'll never forget.
Like, I went into my aunt's house and they were watching it on TV, and I saw like Pennywise is the clown's name, like playing with limbs back and forth, and I was like, "Yep, nope, that's not for me." And I walked out.
Yeah,
I love it. I even love the original It. Yeah.
And my aunt was like, "They're watching this gory, awful movie over there."
It's not awful.
No, it's awesome.
Okay, Jordan, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is the new Mission Impossible movie, which has a working title called Mission Impossible Libra, but I don't know if that's going to be the final title. But that's
or it's even going to come out this year.
yeah, right. Seriously, with all those.
That is the hardest thing about doing this list. That is the hardest thing about doing this list, though, is because we're still currently in that pandemic. So it's like, which of these movies are going to be pushed back, right?
Yeah, right. And you have all those blowups from Tom Cruise, which I think that he's justified in like screaming at his cast and stuff. But yeah. So I mean, who knows? But basically, there's not really a whole lot of information out about this. I know they're going to add Haley Atwell to the cast, but other than that,
Pom Clemente from Guardians of the Galaxy, she played.
Mantis.
Yeah.
And then Angela Bassett too.
Yeah, but she was in the last one.
Oh, was she in the last one?
She was the
they all kind of blend together.
Yeah, she was like the head of the FBI. She was pretty much Cavill's boss.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. So, but like, I don't really know very much about it, but like, I don't need to know much. Like, it's Mission Impossible. Like the last, like 3 have been incredible. And it's like, one of the things I always remember was from the late, great John Schnepp. I remember him saying on an episode of Movie Talk, he's like, just when you think that they couldn't make Mission Impossible any better, it's like you go to the next one, they're like, this can't be any better. It's like, they did it. They made it better again. What the heck? And it's like, it's getting better and better. I'm just like, so like, I'm pumped.
So the 4th one, which is actually the first one I saw, what was that one again? That wasn't Rogue Nation. No, that was Ghost Protocol. So that was so the climactic scene at the end where they're running through the streets of India or whatever and stuff. That was actually filmed in downtown Vancouver. It filmed at the convention center, right on the water. Wow. And I remember because that would have been the year the Canucks went to the finals. And I'm sitting there, I'm watching a game on CTV on Hockey Night in Canada, fully aware that they're filming the movie, and they show from the box like, "Hey, Tom Cruise is here." It's like they have his name in the banner, they put him on the screen, everybody's cheering. Right beside him is Simon Pegg, and they made no mention of him.
Wow,
Simon Pegg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on. Simon Pegg's A-list. Come on.
Yeah. Well,
but he's not on.
Now he's not on that time.
Yeah, but like Tom Cruise is like above A-list. I don't know. Yeah. He's like ascends in another galaxy.
Tom Cruise. I have to wonder though, who's taller, Tom or Simon?
Probably Simon.
Probably.
Let me Google it.
Yeah. My favorite thing is how they depict Tom Cruise in The Family Guy. Like he's just like little tiny short guy, and he's just walking around with Peter, just having hijinks with Peter.
Okay, Tom Cruise is 5'7".
Yeah.
And then Simon Pegg height is 5'10". Okay,
yep.
Simon Pegg is taller than Tom Cruise.
About my height almost.
That's why they didn't mention him, because if they mentioned him, they would have to show him and Tom. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Tom, there's no way Tom would want people to see that.
Oh, I don't think he cares at this point. Everyone knows.
Yeah. So my number 3 was
Stallone. I think is shorter than Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah.
So my number 3 was Fast 9. So we can go, and we already talked about that. So we can go to Ben's number 3.
My number 3 is the Suicide Squad.
Right.
Ooh.
So I didn't put this
on
my list because it's comic book movies. Duh. But that's just me.
It's in my honorable mentions.
Oh wait, that one is in my honorable mentions, but it's actually number 1 in my honorable mentions.
Nice.
I mean, okay. Well, the first one is comics, but I like the characters. So I can't really see some of the same characters in a new version directed by James Gunn.
Yeah.
And that makes sense.
James Gunn is the main reason for this, and then also how big the cast is. You know that we're gonna get some immediate deaths from like probably even before the open credits. There's gonna be a death.
Oh, probably.
I think the one guy I hope is in more of the movie is Nathan Fillion, only because he's just a fun guy.
Yeah. Who's he playing again?
TDK, whatever that means.
But the guy who plays the one who's like Baba Yaga in Ant-Man, the Russian guy, he's playing I think Polka Dot Man.
Yes.
And it's gonna be like people are guessing that he's gonna die soon, but then other people are going, it would be hilarious if he actually survives through everything. Just because of Polka Dot Man.
Oh, we need his Condiment King and we're set.
Yeah, right. Or it'd be hilarious if they pulled him at Gruber, where like there's a one guy getting ready to go on the mission, and his whole team just dies, and it's one survives, and it's Polka Dot Man, maybe. That'd be awesome.
Deadpool 2.
And it looks like two teams, like they're taking the whole cast, and it looks like they're making two teams. So it's like, which team is dying?
Okay, so I just looked up TDK just for all of it, because even I'm like, I've never heard of this guy. So, so the character, he is kind of an original character, but his insignia that he has in the movie is based. Apparently looks like a pair of detached limbs because he's loosely based off of a comic book character, and I can't believe I'm saying this. His name is Arm Fall Off Boy.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, awesome. His arms come off, and then he beats people with his severed arm, and then attaches it back.
Yeah, Arm Fall Off Boy is a superhero from the 30th century, and the ability to detach his own limbs, which he can then use as weapons.
I think he used his arm like a nunchuck or something.
Apparently, he gained his powers through carelessness while holding the anti-gravity metal element 152. That sounds about that checks out.
I think this movie's gonna be pretty batshit crazy. Like,
of course,
because
so ready.
Because like James Gunn, he said that like he like took Guardians of the Galaxy and like brought it to a whole nother level with this. So
he must have because Stallone's in the cast,
right?
He was in Guardians too. He was in Guardians too.
That's why I said and then you've got Fillion was in the first Guardians. Who else? Well, obviously Sean Gunn was the stand-in.
Is Dave Bautista in this one or not?
I believe. I think he was. He was cast. I heard.
Okay, but he will die early.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be like the open credit.
He's not on the official cast list for on IMDb. Actually,
also, what's his face?
If he's in it, he's gonna be a quick death.
Yeah.
And what's his face from The Walking Dead? Who played a Merle? I'm like spacing on his name. He played the blue guy with the arrow, from.
Oh yeah.
The Galaxy. Michael, he's gonna be in it too.
Yeah, as
Michael Rooker. That's it.
Michael Rooker. Yeah, he always has Michael Rooker in all his movies.
Oh, for sure. Oh, Michael Rooker is so good.
Yeah, Michael Rooker to this day is the best Comic-Con panel that I've ever seen in my life. He came out into the crowd, and the crowd started going nuts. He was just answering just questions off the fly. Well, everybody was like mobbing him, and he was also signing autographs at the same time. And then he was just saying off the wall stuff, just commenting on like people's clothes. He's commenting on like cute girls he saw in the crowd, like all this crazy stuff.
Very nice.
He was a lot of fun.
Matt, you're number 3.
Yeah, sorry, I was just taking a look, and like I heard rumors about Bautista being cast, but there is literally nothing. But I'll look at that later. So my number 3 is, I've got a feeling it's going to be a punt. It's Coming to America.
Nope.
It is in my honorable mentions. I'm very, very excited for this movie, but there's 2 movies that I'm more excited for that I have in my 1 and 2.
I've never seen the original.
Mine too.
So I need to see it.
Okay, so there's really not much to say about this. This is a long-awaited sequel to the 80s classic. But the king, was it Zamunda?
Yeah.
Yep.
So basically he comes back to America because he finds out he's got a long-lost son, which I'm curious to see how that works, because last I checked, he didn't sleep with anybody else in the first one. So unless he cheated on his wife or something, who knows? And the best part, the mom is played by Leslie Jones, so this should be fun.
I love Leslie Jones much.
Pretty much everybody is back. Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall, Shari Headley, who played Lisa in the first one, she's coming back. John Amos, who's McDowell, is coming back. You've got obviously James Earl Jones coming back. Louis Anderson as Maurice from The Restaurant is coming back.
Wow.
Yeah, they've got a Garcelle Beauvais, who was one of the Rose Girls. She's coming back apparently as one of the Rose Girls. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people are coming back. It's going to be awesome.
And isn't the barbershop people still coming back? Even though they should be,
they're all there. They all
dead.
haven't looked like they've aged at all a day in 30 years. And
they're bringing the deep cut characters back,
Murphy and Hall, which is going to be great because they were my favorite part of the first movie, especially when he's just, the main barber was like, "Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Who's next?"
Yeah, have you guys seen the new iteration of Supermarket Sweep with Leslie Jones? So
No.
So she's a new host, but like me and my wife tried to watch it, and woof, like it is not good. She is not meant to host that show. It is not her style. Like that show, I wouldn't surprised if it's canceled within a couple more episodes. Like it is.
I like Leslie Jones when she has a little bit of restriction on her.
Right. Yeah.
Like in SNL, she was great with SNL.
She could be too much. Yeah, she was good on some parts of SNL, but when she's one of those, if she starts going too far off the rails, it can be a little too much. That's just for me, though.
Same. Yeah.
I think that could be with a lot of artists. Like, I think the main comment on like George Lucas going like Star Wars goes, when he had people to rein him in, you have the amazingness of the original trilogy. The prequel trilogy was George Lucas like, I'm going to do everything that I want.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, there's really not much more I can say because it's going to be fun. I can't wait. So, Jordan, what's your number 2?
So my number 2, if you can't see with the giant Spider-Man behind me here, it's going to be Spider-Man 3. That's my number 2.
Of course.
So I'm a massive diehard Spider-Man fan.
That was one where I'm like, I saw that at the end in December. I'm like, that one's probably going to be pushed back.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but like I haven't really heard too much as far as the actual plot of this movie goes. I don't really like.
Nobody has.
But the casting though, that's been leaked everywhere, and all the crazy people that they're adding, and then all the jokes off of like social media that they're gonna add so and so's brother and so and so's sister, like some random person out of left field, So
that was a joke on the other YouTube channel that I'm a part of. They're like, they're putting Soul in the movie. Soul has been casted in the movie, and so has this person and this person.
Nice.
Yep.
So I'm Spider-Man 3, guys.
Right on. I can't wait. Hey,
I can't wait to hear.
Yep, I'll look forward to that. But yeah, like I'm excited to just see all the crossovers they're gonna do. I mean, you got Doc Ock back, you got Electro back, and probably we're gonna have Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. I think at this point that it's inevitable that they're gonna be back. But I mean,
and so cross with Doctor Strange too, and like how everything's gonna meld together between that and WandaVision and Doctor Strange, like Spider-Man 3. Yeah,
but I'm also excited to see J. Jonah Jameson, to see J.K. Simmons back. Like,
oh yeah, he was born for that
role. Yep, exactly, born for it. So yeah, so like anything Spider-Man, just give it to me. I've been playing so much Spider-Man, Miles Morales, like Spider-Man's my all-time favorite superhero since I was a little kid, and so I grew up. That was the first comic I ever read, was a Spider-Man comic. So nice. Yeah, I love me some Spider-Man.
Yeah, this is my favorite iteration of Spider-Man, so I can't wait for the third one. But like I said, looking at where it was, I'm like, yeah, I could see it getting pushed back.
Yeah, I'm glad though with J. Jonah Jameson that they did the Judi Dench M on him, where Judi Dench M with oh my gosh, 007, James Bond, was introduced in an earlier film and then brought back, and it's like it's not the same character, but it's the same actress because she just is a great M. So the fact that they did that with J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, I agree, and that's one of the beauty things about the multiverse is you can bring back the same actor and you can put a different spin on it. Like in the original, he's the traditional James Jonah Jameson. He is the newspaper mogul that's always out to get Spider-Man. This time around, he's an Alex Jones type character who's out a podcast based on conspiracy theories. Yeah, I mean that's perfect for a character like James Jonah Jameson.
It is perfect. Yeah. Awesome.
So I guess I'll go into my number 2.
Yes, ma'am.
Bringing in another cartoon. It's Raya and the Last Dragon.
That's on my honorable mentions.
When I saw the trailer for this, I was like, she looks like Korra from Legend of Korra. I was like, she's a waterbender.
Yep, right. She
And
does.
so just going in on what the movie's about goes, long ago in the world of Commandra, humans and dragons lived together in harmony, and then to make the joke, until the Fire Nation attacked. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
But when sinister monsters known as Droon threatened the land, the dragons sacrificed themselves to save humanity. Now, 500 years later, those same monsters have returned, and it's up to the lone warrior, Raya, to track down the last dragon in order to finally stop the Droon for good. However, along the journey, she'll learn that it'll take more than dragon magic to save the world. It's going to take trust as well. So
Very nice.
I think there's going to be some good messages in this, which always cartoon movies have some good messages. And I just love the diversity you can see in the movie when it was through the trailer, like just all the different shades of colors in like the Asian community, because they come in just as many colors as the rest of us. One thing that like I always advocate is like being Latino is not a race, it's an ethnicity. We go from really, really white to really, really dark, like Black people. So like we go through all the spectrum. So it's cool to see that with Asians as well, as that's being presented on screen, all of the spectrums of colors of those wonderful people.
Hey,
Yeah. That's awesome.
You're on mute, Matt.
Sorry, I had to mute something just for a little bit earlier. But anyways, no, I really enjoy what Disney and Pixar are doing by bringing these different cultures to the to mainstream.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because of what these other movies, it didn't make my top 5, but it's definitely one of my most anticipated films of the year because it's Disney.
Yep. You can't go wrong with Disney.
Oh, sorry, Jordan.
Oh no, I was gonna say, does that mean all my siblings, like whenever a Disney movie comes out, we're like, should we go see it? Is it gonna be good? And we're like, yeah, it's Disney. Like Disney always has quality. Like, do they ever really make a bad movie? And usually, if it is a bad movie, they're actually smart enough to release it like straight to VOD or straight to video. You know,
or to learn from it too.
Yeah, so like
I think what was it, the dragon one? What was that called? That didn't do very well in the Pixar.
Oh, that was a recent one too, wasn't
The
it?
Good Dinosaur, I think.
Yeah, The Good
And
Dinosaur.
like that one didn't do very well. I haven't seen it, so I can't comment on whether it's good or not. But a lot of that didn't do well, and people like had a lower opinion of that than other Pixar movies, and so they kind of like whenever something doesn't hit well, they learn from it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Except there's one exception.
Cars.
Never
Hey, that made a lot of money. That was about money and not about quality.
Yeah. I never noticed just how much money they can make because my younger cousins were young enough, were of the right age when that first one came out. Like Max had a Cars themed birthday party, and the big Lightning McQueen decal was on their living room wall for like 4 years.
For some kids, Cars is their Toy Story.
And I get it. Like the first one actually is pretty charming. Is it the greatest?
Yeah.
Not really, but it's actually not that bad of a movie. Second one, I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen the second or third, but I think the second one focuses on Mater, right?
Yeah.
So I think he's a spy, right?
Yeah,
I'm not in the third.
What I would give the first one though is what Kevin Smith says about Batman Begins is very earnest, very earnest.
Yeah,
where it's just bare bones. It gives you what you need from the movie, and that's really all you need. And it's a fun film. Yeah, it's cute. Hey, 50.
Hey, he's chiming in.
Yeah,
yeah. Ben, you're number 2.
My number 2. I'm surprised this hasn't come up yet. Kind of strange. Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Punt.
Ooh.
Okay.
And that's what I had queued up. I was gonna play the fucking Ghostbusters theme song.
Oh.
Ben ruined it for you.
You still could have done it.
Yeah, I guess.
Go ahead. You take it.
Yeah, okay, since it is my number 1, yeah. Okay.
Oh, wait, no.
Can I mention your honorable mentions first, or
go
straight into it?
You have to do your number 2. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, we'll get to it then. So my number 2, I told you nobody would have this on their list, Ben. It's an upcoming documentary that I just found out was supposed to be released on my birthday, which would have been the greatest birthday present ever. It is the upcoming documentary film from Peter Jackson called The Beatles Get Back. So
I didn't know that was coming out.
Yeah, me neither until a couple weeks ago when the first look dropped. And if you actually go on Disney Plus, because apparently it is being distributed by Disney, you can actually watch the first look on Disney Plus. So basically, I'm just going to read what the brief little production thing on Wikipedia, just to give everybody an idea of what is going on. So basically, the Beatles Get Back employs the techniques developed by Peter Jackson on another film he did to transform the footage with modern production techniques. Over 55 hours of footage and 140 hours of audio stemming from the original project, the original Get Back documentary they're supposed to do in the 60s, were made available to Jackson's team, and it will include the full 42-minute rooftop concert. In reference to the long reported acrimony surrounding the original Get Back project, Jackson wrote in a press statement that he was relieved to discover the reality is very different to the myth. Sure, there's moments of drama, but none of the discord this project has long been associated with. So it sounds like all the arguments and stuff was kind of exaggerated. And it was created with cooperation from McCartney, Starr, and the widows of Lennon and Harrison. And yeah, so basically they gave him access to all the archival footage from the original planned documentary that was supposed to come out with that album Get Back. And it's going to be awesome because we're going to finally see the final days of the Beatles. And one of the things is they're going to focus on what it was like for the Beatles to make an album at that time. And it's just like, I wouldn't call myself like the biggest Beatles fan in the world, but I'm a big fan of the Beatles. So when I saw this, and Peter Jackson doing it, it's like, come on.
Right. That's awesome.
And this has definitely been added on my radar and probably something I'll watch with my dad.
I knew you would get once you heard about it, you get into it. But yeah, this is what pissed me off. It says it was initially set to be released by Walt Disney Studios on September 4th, 2020, which is my birthday.
Yeah, another September baby. Almost everyone in my family is September, except for me, like immediate family. My dad's September 11th, my mom's September 27th, my older brother September 30th, and then my little brother is a day later, October 1st. So they're all that, and then I'm in January.
Oh, you're the outlier. Nice. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I can't wait. Definitely go and watch that featurette. Do it. It's pretty cool.
If you said it's on Disney Plus, that's doing it.
Yeah, it's a 5-minute featurette, so it's no problem. And Peter Jackson, when he puts his heart into stuff, it comes out great.
Yeah, I'm absolutely. I love the World War I documentary that he made, where he turned everything from black and white into color and remastered all the footage and stuff.
Yeah, that's the technique I mentioned from that movie that they're going to use.
Awesome, because that was great. I think it's called "They Shall Not Grow Old" or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun. So yeah, I'd be totally down for this one. Yeah.
Oh, for sure, because the recording of that album and the scrapped documentary is pretty much stuff of legend at that point, because it's been long said that is what led to their breakup. So I mean, wow. It'd be pretty cool to see. All right, so now honorable mention time. So we'll start with you, Jordan.
All right, so my honorable mention, I got 5 of them. So on my honorable mention, I got the Suicide Squad 2. I have No Time to Die, the James Bond movie. I'm a huge James Bond fan, so I got to throw that one in. Top Gun Maverick for sure. Then I have Free Guy, because all the trailers that I've seen from Ryan Reynolds and Free Guy, it looks like a ton of fun. And then The Eternals, which is kind of like an unknown as far as what they're going to do on screen. I think that there's a lot in the comic books you can read up if you want to find out more about Eternals. But yeah, those are my top 5.
Yeah, just completely ignore the aborted TV series they tried to do.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
So my honorable mentions. So I have Encanto, which they said it's coming out 2021. We'll see. That's the new Disney movie set in Colombia. And Lin-Manuel Miranda's doing the music for it, so I'm excited. His name will be said again for my number 1. Spoiler. And then I have Dune, Black Widow, Shang-Chi, No Time to Die, The Suicide Squad, and Coming to America in my honorable mentions.
Nice. And Ben?
What do I have? I don't have any honorable mentions. I'm Black Widow. That's my honorable mention.
All right.
Really, with all this pool, no honorable mentions. I
What?
said with all this pool of movies, no honorable
Oh,
mentions.
I have Black Widow.
Okay.
Yeah.
On mine is Tom and Jerry, because why not?
Yeah.
Raya and the Last Dragon, The Kingsman, and Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Kingsman, just for the Miss Honorable, I mentioned, I did want to mention too that like Tom and Jerry, that trailer really surprising. It kind of gives me some shades of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, honestly.
Yeah,
So.
and I didn't even know it was coming out, and I'm like, I can't wait to see Chloe Grace Moretz do comedy.
Right. Yep.
Well, Goody can count for him comedy.
I don't think I've ever seen her in a comedy.
Kick-Ass. That's not a comedy?
I haven't seen
It's an
that.
action comedy.
Yeah, but I wouldn't really. I don't. For me, I didn't think it was funny. Like, I mean, you could say it's got comedic elements, but I mean, this is her first full blown comedy, I guess.
Okay, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
Hey, Jordan, you're numero uno.
All right. So my numero uno is the sequel to my second favorite movie of all time, and that is The Matrix 4. So I have so much love for The Matrix. Like I actually bought, like I wish I actually kept the actual case for it, because what I do with all my DVDs, I get rid of all the cases and I have them all in binders. So it just makes it easier to transport, easier to just deal with them. So I do it that way. But I
would agree with you from every time they've moved my DVD collection.
Yep. Right. So but the box set that I had was this huge. I think it was like an 8-set box set and included all the movies. Then each one got its own a DVD full of special features. Then you had the Animatrix in there. You had a bunch of other extra things like that in there. So yeah, that's one of kind of like my prized possessions that I have. But yeah. So basically, we haven't really gotten much of the plot for it, but we're gonna have the return of Keanu Reeves, obviously, Carrie and Moss, but surprisingly, there's no Lawrence Fishburne. So I kind of get the feeling maybe Morpheus might show up at the very end somehow and like be in a sequel, because I've heard rumors that it's going to be a trilogy. I don't really know for sure, but that's kind of
I
what
hope not. I think they should just make this one first and then see how it plays out.
Right. Yeah. And then you have one of the guys who played one of the agents. His name's Daniel Bernhardt. He's going to come back, but we're not going to have Hugo Weaving come back as the agent. I think he's been a little like vocal as like turning down that role. They asked him, and he did. He's not going to come back. But and then you have Jada Pinkett Smith coming back as Niobe, and which if they're going to bring back Niobe, I kind of feel like you got to have Morpheus. I feel like those two characters kind of go hand in hand. But and then you have some kind of off the wall character. Like you have Neil Patrick Harris in like a random role, and so like I don't really know like how that's really going to fit into that. But yeah, he's on the cast list, and let's see, I'm actually bringing up a little cast list here, but like he was the one that really stood out to me. But yeah, it's not really displaying the way I want, but that's okay. But yeah, so I'm super excited. Yeah, one of the two original directors, Lana Wachowski, she's coming back for this. So
I think they were both coming back.
No, only one.
Oh,
only one. Yeah. Nope, it's just the one. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I'm one of the rarities. I could get into it. I tried with The Matrix.
Really?
I did. I watched it the first time against my will when I was in 9th grade. Couldn't do it. I tried to watch it last year again for the second time. I couldn't make it past 30 minutes.
Even just the first one?
Even just the first one.
Wow.
It's not my
great.
And like I said, I respect it for everything it's accomplished, everything it's done. It's not for me.
Well, the first Matrix was like pretty groundbreaking, like all the special effects. Like it was like pretty much what every action movie kind of based like their effects off of it. So and they're saying that they have new technologies in this one it's going to do the same thing that's supposed to be like very, very groundbreaking, that like in the same vein as the first one. So we'll see. I don't know what it is, but
yeah, we'll definitely have to wait. I don't know. I don't know if I'll watch it personally.
Oh man,
I have legit tried. It's just
Hey, if you don't like something, you don't like it. And we're not going to
breaking
force
my heart.
anything on you.
I know.
Just like you guys can't force me to watch horror movies. I'm not going to force you to watch The Matrix.
It's just sometimes I feel like when it comes to
true.
movies like The Matrix, because it is so universally loved and whatever, it's kind of like when people find out that you've never done, that you don't like it, you kind of feel bad a little bit.
Don't
I
feel
get
bad.
it.
Yeah.
I get
What
it.
you need to do is go on Ben's Hot Takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Tee that up for you, Ben.
Honestly, outside of Star Wars, and I'd say the Star Trek movies, I've never really been that big into sci-fi. So
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's depending on what genres you're in, and I'm sure you're not alone for being. It's just that, like I say, a lot of times when you see like negative feedback or just people like, oh, everybody thinks that, it's usually a vocal minority. Not everyone thinks that. It's just what you hear mostly, because the people who are in the minority are typically the loudest.
100%.
I'm going through the same thing right now, only kind of opposite. Yeah, but that's his name.
I get that.
I love that movie, but everybody, whatever. I don't want to.
Like I'm not like I'm gonna use Wonder Woman 84 as an example. Like I liked it. I thought it was a fun movie, and I will watch it again. But it's just like seeing some people in our space that we follow, the way
shit.
Sorry.
I was saying bash it, which like with me,
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. There's definitely
No,
problems with it, but yeah, people were bashing it.
Bashing would be the right word, but it's just like how they express it.
Into bashing.
Yeah, it's just how they go about bashing it. It almost makes me feel bad sometimes for liking those movies. It's just like,
dude, because kind of like, oh, if you like this, then you don't know what's good. Like your opinion doesn't matter, kind of thing. And I hate when I hate when people make other people feel that way. So because like taste is subjective. So like whether you like something or not, that's your opinion. And like, so you can't say, oh, this is definitively good or this is definitively bad, because there's going to be someone out there for like what you think is the worst movie out there. There's going to be someone that loves it. And what you think might be the best movie ever, there's going to be someone that doesn't like it.
Here's the perfect example from my life. I actually really liked Green Book. Now, here's the thing. I didn't go to Green Book to learn about history.
Right.
It taught me to look up the history, but I don't go to see a movie to learn about what actually happened. That's called a documentary. Yeah. I go for a movie to see if it entertains me from when it starts to when it ends. And that movie entertained me. I thought it was a good movie.
I feel the same way about
I didn't see it, not for any principle or anything. It never like got on my radar.
Yeah, it just happened to be in my theater here, so like I'll go check it out, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, do I understand? Looking into the history a little bit more and hearing everybody's concerns, do I understand why a lot of people didn't get it, like it? Of course, all 100% valid concerns, but it's like I shouldn't feel bad for liking the movie because it didn't represent the real story good enough.
What I read, and this could be just me talking out of my ass, so I apologize if I am wrong, and if I am wrong, I will eat my words. But what I read something somewhere saying that like for something to be historically accurate in TV or film, it only needs to be 10% accurate.
Yeah.
And so like there are so many movies based on a true story that basically the only accurate thing is their names.
Yeah,
and like a few and where they lived and kind of things, and like everything else is played a little different. And so that's why typically when you do watch a movie, that's why I was saying earlier, like educate yourself. So like if you watch a movie and you enjoy it, go look at what actually happened.
Yeah.
Go research it and be like, this is what actually happened. I still enjoyed that movie.
50.
That movie was still fun, but I still
and
I didn't see 50's comment. What did he say?
Oh, he says if you bring it back up. If you don't like something, that's your right. Don't make people feel bad for not liking
100%,
something.
100%.
And like that's how I feel about Green Book. 100%. I liked it, but it's just like there's a part of me now. Every time I see the case or it on, it's just like I feel bad for liking it because a lot of people gave it shit for historical accuracy, and it's like, come on, guys. This was written from Viggo Mortensen character's son's stories from his father.
Recollection.
So there's always going to be more than one side to stories. And
that's something too we saw in Cobra Kai when slight spoilers, but kind of like Allie's character comes back and they say there's Danny's side, there's Johnny's side, and then there's the actual truth in the middle.
Yeah, the truth is always somewhere in the middle, and it's just like there's a lot of things on that trip, that Green Book trip, that we probably don't know about, so they had to make it up. Like, that's creative license. I mean,
and there's some things that are true that just aren't good cinematically. It's the same like when someone's adapting a book. Sometimes what happens in the book is not cinematic, so they have to change what happened in the book for the movie and create their own kind of narrative at that point to make it more cinematic, because what happened in the book wasn't cinematic. And it's because they're two different storytelling mechanisms. So things aren't always going to be 100% accurate, because you still have to make a movie that's entertaining, and sometimes what is accurate is not entertaining.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm trying to think what is a good example of the book one. Like Harry Potter definitely is you could definitely say that with about how they changed a lot of stuff. But like even Ready Player One, like if you guys have actually read the book Ready Player One?
No. I have not.
Read it, it's great. No. But a lot of the references in that movie are mostly located in the 80s, but a lot of them are also Spielberg references. So when he got attached to the film, he's like, okay, we can't use a lot of these references because I don't want it to seem like it's, like, That's why in the movie you see like Chucky, and you see like, I think you see a Megazord at one point, and you see
Iron Giant.
The Iron Giant, which is a 90s film. It's just like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And I love that movie.
Me too. I do have the second book. I'm only a chapter in because reading a book.
I hear people who love the first book are disappointed with the second book, but because with me, I want to read the first book, but I hear so many people disappointed with the second that I'm like, oh no.
Trust me, Paul, read the first book.
Oh,
especially like for me, I knew nothing about it, and my buddy at work was like, "I got a book you might like. It's called Ready Player One. It's like it's full of nostalgia references you might get." So I'm like, "Okay." So I read it, and literally in the prologue, they dropped a bunch of Ghostbuster references. I'm like, "Son of a bitch, I'm in."
But I guess we'll go into my number one to keep the ball rolling. So. This one, like I mentioned before, Lin-Manuel Miranda's coming back up. This movie is directed by John M. Chu, who directed Crazy Rich Asians, and that is In the Heights. And I'm so excited for this movie. I'm so excited. Yes. It was supposed to come out summer 2020. Now it's coming out summer 2021. Damn you, COVID. Could have already seen this movie. But yeah, I own the CD of the original Broadway musical, and I was actually listening to it today driving back home to Miami, so I got to listen to Act 1 on the way home. But you have the main character, Usnavi, originally played by Lin-Manuel Miranda, now played by Anthony Ramos, who played John Lawrence and Philip Hamilton in the play Hamilton. So so they're bringing him in to play the lead role, which is, I love kind of like both Hamilton and In the Heights have kind of mixture, like the person who plays Benny in the play plays George Washington in the Hamilton play. So like there's a little like mix and matching of like Hamilton In the Heights crossover. Lynn, who originally played Usnavi, is now playing the Piragua guy, which is basically the guy who sells like the flavored ice around town.
Nice.
And
the snow cone guy.
The snow cone guy, basically. And the thing is, his character and his storyline has nothing to do with anyone else in the play. He's just a sideline comedy relief, great music character. And what's so funny about his character is that he has a rivalry with Mr. Softy.
Oh, awesome.
So like you have this like epic like story of like this thing, and then over on the side you have a guy battling with Mr. Softy.
I like that. That's funny.
But so like the main character Usnavi, he's from the Dominican Republic, and he wants to go back. His parents are no longer living. He hasn't been to the DR since his parents have passed away. His name is Usnavi. He was named after, because when they came to New York, parents saw a ship that said U.S. Navy and named him Usnavi, which is something that actually happens in Latin communities. There's
I like
Usnavis,
that actually.
Usmarines, Usmales in the Latin community, actually named after just like U.S. Marines, U.S. Navy, U.S. Mail. And so it's really funny, a little joke in our community. The only person reprising the role from the play is Olga Mercedes. She's playing Abuela Claudia. Her song in the play always makes me tear up a little bit because her character's from Cuba, and it really reminds me of my grandmother and my grandmother's journey to the U.S. kind of thing.
Ooh.
And so I just love that it's kind of an immigrant story, kind of but you also have characters that are first, second generation in Americans, and so like it's just a Latin community trying to make it through life and trying to go forward. And like there's the lottery is involved, and then like there's a sad story kind of in the play. And I think too that in the movie they're updating a few things. So like I think they're going to make DACA a part of the movie, which is not a part of the play.
What's that?
The Deferred Action for Child Arrivals, which is
Okay.
people who came to the United States when they were very, very young. By like they didn't decide to come here; their parents brought them here, so they were allowed to stay under the DACA program in the
Okay.
U.S. because they came as
Is it similar to the
children.
Dreamer?
Yeah, the Dreamers.
Okay.
And so it's just Latin music, Latin pride. It was shot on location. US 50. Love it. US 50.
And then international treasure.
And then you have Leslie Grace, who is a singer. She's gonna be playing Nina in the movie. So I listen to her music, so I'm excited to see her foray into acting and see how she does. So I'm excited for this movie.
Hamilton made me more excited for this than I was previously, but it falls into how Hamilton hit with me at first. I tried to listen to the music beforehand, but without the context of what's going on, I couldn't get into it because hip-hop's not my thing. Now, however, when I watched Hamilton, then I was in love with the soundtrack. So I feel like I need to watch the movie first before I can actually understand the music.
And I want to see how, too, that they're going to line up, because I can't wait to listen to the movie soundtrack of it, and the movie character, the actors that are playing, singing the songs that I know so well so far from the original play, and like how that's going to hold up. And I think just because of how much involved Lin is in it, and he even says like in an interview, they're taking a 2-act play and turning it into a 3-act movie. So I don't know what they're putting into the movie, because movies are typically 3 acts. So they had to like expand it a little bit. So I'm excited to see like all the little things that they put in, and then like all the there was a few things that were in the play that they kind of had to take out just because of modern references.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, there's got to be stuff that's gonna be cut.
Yeah, so there was a name that was changed from someone who back then wasn't problematic, but is problematic now, and so they're like changing that reference out. So yeah, so it's kind of funny. I'll tell you later in the
put in the private chat.
But yeah, I'm excited for this movie. It is my most anticipated of 2021.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, no, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, see, for me, this is one big thing. Like, speaking of how movies are subjective, I am not a musical fan. I could name you 6 musicals, and they're the only musical. like drop me out. No, like seriously, like I've tried so many musicals that like people just love, and I just can't get into it. So only musicals that I actually love Sing Street, so that was one that I actually got into. I like Mary Poppins. I like The Wizard of Oz. I like Grease 2. I do not like Grease 1 for some reason. I just like Grease 2. I like the music from La La Land, so I don't really even count that. I don't like the movie. I just like the music. And then I like Rocket Man. I thought that was awesome. I like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And then I like Phantom of the Opera. But like besides that, and I also saw the play Wicked, and I actually love the play, and I wouldn't mind seeing that made into a movie if they have already. I don't know if they have, But besides that, I just can't get into. There's so many there's so many musicals people just love to death, and I try watching them. I just can't get through them. It's just like singing like way too much music and not enough story, or I don't know what it is. It just I don't know. It just doesn't resonate with me. I can't do it.
Definitely not for everybody.
Yeah, so that's just me. But I'm glad that you live in the Heights, and there's so much hype in it. Like I'm definitely going to check it out. Like I'm not opposed to going to check it out.
Good Latin music.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
So I mean, I'll give it a shot.
First song starts with the clave, the bum 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 bum, and like immediately you're like, I'm in with this percussion instrument. Have you used or heard of the clave?
Oh yeah, I've used the clave before.
Yeah, so yeah,
it
starts with the clave.
Than you think in community band.
Yeah.
Yep, I know Alex Marzonius got me pretty hyped for In the Heights. He was hyping it up. So
yeah.
So
he's a big advocate of that.
We'll see. Yep.
And have you listened to Alex's stuff? You can definitely hear the Lin-Manuel influence in it.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yeah.
Ben, you're number one.
I'm surprised this hasn't come up yet. A Quiet Place 2.
I said I forgot about it. I forgot about that movie.
Just my honorable mentions.
See, I don't like horror movies, even though like I enjoyed the first one, and this one technically is not a horror movie, but yeah, still in that big.
Yeah, Ben, you're a big horror guy.
I'm not a big horror guy. I actually didn't see the first one in the theater. I saw it at my home. That's the only way I can do horror movies.
Oh yeah.
But I'm a big John Krasinski fan, and I'm a Blunt fan, you know, and I heard all this good stuff about the first one. So I watched it, I loved it, and I can't wait for the second one to come out. Which, if I'm not mistaken, there's a prequel sequel at the same time. You know, we're going to get
from what I heard, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't looked much into it because I think now that I've seen the first one, I'm most likely going to see the second one. But it's one of those where, like, I guess in those types of movies, I don't want to spoil myself.
Yeah,
and so I haven't looked too much into it.
It's a great movie, 50. Sorry, but I didn't really include it.
It's not coming out in 2021, 50.
No, he's talking about how Jordan said he doesn't like musicals, and Lion King technically is a musical.
No, The Lion King is actually my second favorite all-time Disney movie. I just didn't include any animated in the musical. So
when I watched the first Quiet Place, I was like you. I didn't watch it in theaters because I wasn't really interested. But I watched it with a bunch of my friends, and at the time we had new parents in the group. So what happened at the very beginning happened. That was awkward.
Oh my god!
Yeah, because how long ago did that come out? That was what, 3 years ago?
2-3
years ago. Yes, my niece would have been about 1. My niece was 1 when that came out, so that's how new my friends were as parents. Yeah, it was intense to say the least. Like I could see in the corner my friend Callan like cringing and like white knuckling things throughout the whole movie.
Yeah,
like it was
2018.
Yeah, it was intense. Yes, should have been 1.
Yeah, that first movie was actually one of my favorite theater going experience of all time because the way that the sound was, you had to be dead silent. If you even like reach for like some candy or like popcorn, even made like the slightest noise, people would like turn around and look at you. Like you got to be dead silent for that movie to get the full effect for it. So it's one of those movies that's kind of made for that.
Yeah, definitely. That's probably my favorite thing about the movie is just how they flip that on its ear.
And also the scene with Emily Blunt, like
you and me both as well. 50, you and me as well.
Yep, but
the nail. The nail, and then what Emily Blunt has to do after the nail, that I was just like, no.
As someone who stepped on a nail, I know how much that hurts.
When it had the close-up on the nail, and I was like,
and also she gives birth.
She's gonna step on it. Step on it, and I was like, no.
Okay, I have to ask you guys.
She gives birth in the bathtub.
Yeah, I know.
Crazy scene.
Who did the nail better, A Quiet Place or Home Alone?
Because Home Alone, you can laugh at it. It doesn't make you want to throw up.
Yeah, but I can't watch that scene in Home Alone.
Really?
really?
I gotta give it to Home Alone. It's a classic.
Yeah, see, the Home Alone is because of the
Well, it's Jordan's favorite movie, right?
because
My
of
favorite
everything
Christmas
that's
movie,
gone
yeah.
before, you know the tone of the movie, you know this is slapstick comedy. Whereas A Quiet Place, this is portrayed as more realistic and with the atmosphere of the no music and everything. It's just the intensity and it all plays into that moment. And with that, and then giving the birth.
And you know the guys in Home Alone, they're creeps. They're
they're bad
criminals.
guys.
Whereas like Emily Blunt, she's just a nice lady.
Yeah,
Right.
The great Curly Howard. She's just a victim of circumstance.
Yep. Oh, and also too, speaking of John Krasinski, have you guys been seeing what they've been putting out over on the Office YouTube channel? So they've had a lot of never before seen footage.
Yeah.
It's moved over to Peacock, and like there's like a great thing where it's one of the pranks played on Dwight. That's the whole Matrix thing.
Yeah, it was like
check that out. Yeah, so but they're releasing a lot of never before seen footage, which is pretty cool.
That's cool. Oh, so Matt, what's your number one?
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, I gotta cut it there before we get our video monetized like that one video. Ghostbusters Afterlife, because it's Ghostbusters. I actually like the last one. Yeah,
Me too.
the last one, but I'm happy we're getting the original cast back. Well, almost everybody.
I was 50-50 on the one with all the females. Like there are parts to love and like parts that I kind of cringed at, especially what they did with bringing back all the original people from the first movie. They did not do that right. I didn't think that was bad.
That did bother me.
And the Chris Hemsworth too. You saw him like with his comedy chops, which you see like more in Thor.
That was
and
awesome.
I just want to see I want to see Chris Hemsworth do more comedy because he is a really funny guy, even though he is, and he could do stuff that is. He could do physical humor as well because of just how big he is.
He was the best part in the Vacation remake.
Yeah,
Boy, him and
exactly what I was thinking. Yep, exactly. You're watching the room, just puts his leg up. He's like, do you guys need anything?
Yeah. So the bit of plot they've announced for the new Ghostbusters movie is when a single mom and her two kids arrive in a small town, they begin to discover their connection to the original Ghostbusters and the secret legacy their grandfather left behind. Now, the only thing I can think of with this is the grandfather is the late, great Egon Spengler. That's the only way I can see this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's got to be him. Timelines. They're gonna have to mix around with the timeline a little bit, but I love how they're gonna play it.
The franchise hasn't had to fix the timeline.
That's true. That's true. But what I love is that you've got Jason. Was it Jason Reitman? Is his name? Yeah, Jason Reitman, the son of the original director of the first two, coming directing that. So he knows the franchise very well because he was also in Ghostbusters too. And like I said, most of the cast is all coming. Yeah, he played the kid at the birthday party that said, "My dad said you guys suck." That's
there you go.
Oddly enough, years later, he's directed the movie. But I mean, everybody's coming back. You got Sigourney Weaver, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, and Annie Potts. Unfortunately, no Rick Moranis, but he's pretty much retired, so I respect that. And then the new cast.
Secretly, he'll appear. I don't know. Like I have some hopes that secretly it'll be like a hidden thing.
And that's the thing. Sometimes they keep things so under wraps. Like none of us knew Baby Yoda. None of us knew Book of Boba Fett with Mandalorian. So if they can keep a tight lip like Disney with Mandalorian, then we might see Rick Moranis.
And I'm sorry, don't forget, he's coming back for Shrek. He's going to be in the new Honey I Shrek movie.
That's true. Actually, but by this point, though, when they started production of this or whatever, he was still officially retired.
Right.
But, I mean, and look at the new cast.
Maybe it's what brought him in.
Maybe.
Yep.
He could have had a cameo and was just like and got the got the itch to act again.
Well, yeah, because at this point, the reason why he retires because he had to raise his kids because his wife unfortunately died. His kids are all grown up at this point, so I mean, if he wanted to, he could. But I mean, Finn Wolfhard is joining the cast. McKenna Grace, who's a great child actress, joining the cast. You have, and of course, Paul Rudd. Now, I got a funny story about
The
this
ageless
movie.
Paul Rudd.
I got a pretty cool story about this and Paul Rudd. So my best friend Amber, her brother and sister-in-law live in the Alberta town where they filmed this movie.
Okay.
And so she sent me a text one day while during this was in production, and she said, "Yeah, my sister was outside of where they were filming. She had this big sign that said, 'I want to meet Paul Rudd so I can have bragging rights in my mommy and me class,' or something along those lines." Anyways, word got back to Paul Rudd, and next day she sent me a text with the picture of Paul Rudd and her sister-in-law holding the sign.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I was like, right on. Yeah.
He seems like a great guy.
Paul Rudd too is he's the
Yeah.
nicest guy, and he's so ageless, and it just shows you when you're not problematic, you could stay that young.
Exactly.
Looking.
Him and Patrick Stewart drink from the same well of the soul.
And Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, exactly.
And Ralph Macchio, the dude's
And Ralph
60.
He's almost 60. He's literally a year younger than my
And
parents.
he looks like he's in his 30s.
And he looks like he's like older 30s, young 40s. Like, it's crazy. He's older than William Zabka.
Yeah, he's older than William Zabka, and he's old, if I'm not mistaken, older than Pat Morita was when he played Miyagi.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, no, I can't wait for Ghostbusters whatsoever because I love this franchise. What about you, Ben? This was your number 2, so we need to get your...
You said everything I was going to say. I mean, I didn't hate the 2016 one. I thought it was good. Happy they're bringing everyone back. Don't really want to... I saw those first teasers. Don't really need anything to...
I love this. I love that line. Do, Ray, Egon. He will be missed in this movie.
Yeah. Cat and dog staying together, living in harmony. Catfish.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So many
Classic
great lines.
line.
Yes,
Classic
sir. It is true. This man has no dick.
Yeah.
But here's the part that I find interesting because Bill Murray for years has been reluctant to do anything Ghostbusters, even though he voiced in the video game that came out on the Xbox 360, and he appeared in the last one. But this one, he says, you know what, the script's pretty good, and it was apparently good enough to bring him in because he notoriously does not want anything to do with his past movies whatsoever.
Yeah.
Now, how involved do we think the original cast is actually going to be in this? Like, are they going to be like main characters or not?
I'd say they're definitely supporting because I mean the main characters are going to be the new ones, obviously, but they're going to definitely play bigger. I feel they're going to play a bigger role. It's going to be like kind of like reuniting the Force, so to speak, right? Because at this point, from what you get in the trailer, it's been years since the Ghostbusters have done anything. Everyone has seemed to have forgotten about them. So they've obviously gone their own separate ways and stuff. So I got a feeling it's going to be, let's bring the band back together for one last time sort of thing.
I hope you're right, Matt. I don't want... If they got all of them, I don't want them in one scene.
Yeah, no, they have to.
It needs to be either a good ending or all of them together kind of thing. Kind of the way that like Indiana Jones 5, I hope, is like the last. It's the end. It's just a good ending.
And I hope all of them have lines.
Oh, they will.
I don't want no voiceless anybody.
They're confirmed as playing Venkman.
I know.
Okay.
I'll tell you off camera what I mean.
Okay, gotcha. But here's a little bit into why I think the kids are the grandchildren of Spengler, because in the IMDb trivia, it said that McKenna Grace, who plays Phoebe, the little girl, wears the same glass frames as Harold Ramis does as Egon.
I think that's a given. I don't know why.
It has to be. How else would you write Egon into a movie?
Right.
Okay, so on that note, we're done. So it's actually been pretty tight episode. Ben, your turn to reveal next week's.
Well, I'm sorry, Sean, and there's another musical thing. Top 5 Disney songs.
Top 5 Disney songs?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, Disney songs I can do, though.
Sorry, go ahead, Jordan.
I was going to say Disney songs I can do. because I actually love almost every Disney movie that's ever been made. There's only been maybe one or two I haven't ever liked. So yeah, I can do Disney.
Both live action and
Yeah, it
cartoon?
has to encompass all of it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I can tell you right now, there's a battle going on in my head between number 1 and number 2. Number 1, 'cause they're both great songs.
I can tell you right now, I think a majority of mine will be animated.
Probably, yeah, I'd say that
Yeah.
mine as
Yeah.
well too.
Yeah.
I've already got my number one. My number one's been my number one since I was a kid. So
I think I have my number 5 though.
Oh,
Then 1 through 4 is battling, but I think I have my number 5.
Okay. And one rule. Only one song per movie.
For movie, okay.
okay,
Yes,
one song per movie. I like that rule.
I
Yeah.
can do that.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
like that
50.
rule too.
Sorry, 50. You're gonna have to pick your
Yeah, I
best song.
can't limit Lion King.
It was like one per movie. Come on.
He's gonna pick one from Lion King 1.5, Lion King 2, live action Lion King.
Yeah.
There's his 4.
Yeah, and then
One from the Lion
Lion
Guard.
Guard, and
And
then
then 5.
we'll find a way around it.
yeah.
Okay, so on that note, Jordan, welcome back. Where can everybody find
Yes.
you?
So you can find me over on my second channel. It's called Movie Hero, and we are getting back in the tier ranker fights. We're actually going to be doing. We're not sure 100% when it's coming out. It's probably going to be Saturday, but I'm going to announce it on my Facebook. But we're going to be doing a tier ranker fight where we do a tier ranker for the best board games to ruin a friendship. So that should be fun.
So
So
Monopoly's going to be on
So
there.
Monopoly's number 1.
Rescue,
Oh, yeah.
Allies.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of those games where you just flip the game board over and you get like pissed off at your friends.
Yep.
So, and then also I'm bringing back Blindspots. So we're gonna have a new Blindspots this Friday. We're gonna be covering the movie Turner and Hooch, which is the number one movie voted by the Media Sweaties community that they want me
movie.
to watch. So
Fun
yeah,
movie.
so I had a lot of fun
Movie.
watching it. So yeah, and then also you can find me in the Media Sweaties group. We're actually currently voting on the favorite comedic actor / stand-up comedian of all time. So based on our community. So we got that going, and that's basically where I'm mostly at. So
Nice. And Sol Govan. I got it.
There you go. Yeah, you can find me at SoulGovan on Twitter, at soul.k.govan on Instagram. You can find me here every Wednesdays for Soul Talk, every Sundays here with these lovely people for Get Sweaty. So go check those things out.
Benny Boy, what about you?
You can find me here on Media Swedish channel every Tuesday on Shooting the Breeze, every Saturday on Recapping the Past, every Friday on Ben's Hot Takes, and every Sunday with all these people. And that's everything.
all right.
Wait, when is? Oh.
Just a line code count.
I don't know.
Life finds a way.
It was a TV show.
Yeah. So
I'm
with
gonna
me,
be so excited if he finds a way to make all 5 Lion King related. I'm going to be so happy.
you know,
Please, 50, please do it for me.
because you could include the stage play, and then of course there's Timon a cartoon. There's ways he'll find it, but there's ways. And so with me, you can find me soda_the_saxman on Instagram and Twitter. All the places Ben said when it comes to this channel. Did you say them? Did I just blank out?
No, I said them and I think I forgot to include you. I'm sorry.
Okay, so once again, recapping the past on Saturdays, where me and Ben just sit down and review shows from our past. Shooting the Breeze on Thursdays, where we sit down with our friends from the internet and we just shoot the shit for an hour. And of course, this show right here, the flagship show of the Media Sway Network. You could also find me over on my other channel, Schmoes of the North, where we sit down and we review A, the week in Schmodown, and B, where we interview people from around the community, be it in front of the camera, behind the camera. And tonight is going to be one of our very rare live episodes because we're interviewing none other than one of the people who are entering the draft for the first time, Rick the Rager Radis. So definitely check that out. Based on the conversations I've had with the Rager, it's going to be an interesting time. So definitely check that out. That's 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern.
Nice,
And
nice.
and on that note, thank you very much for joining us, especially you two. U250, and like he says, he can make a top 5 list just from the Lion Guard. So, oh boy. Yeah, so thank you very much for joining us. We will hopefully see you next week. And don't forget, guys, smash cancer and stay sweaty.
Smash cancer.
Stay sweaty.
Stay sweaty.